Hi everybody, my name is Polly Aquilino and I manage the keto support group called Keto Kaleidoscope. Look inside and discover the beauty of change. The link is down underneath this video, so if you or somebody you know could benefit, please join us. We have over 1,200 members and it's a great, empowering, encouraging group. So if you would like to join us, we would love to have you. We have had a fair amount of new people jump on our group, so I just wanted to address some of the hot topics that we've talked about. Up in our announcement on our group, I have 6 different videos about hot topics within our group. So today I want to address one. Sorry about that. Today I want to address one that's been I've had a lot of questions on. So it's about carbs. What are they? The good stuff, the bad stuff, why we need certain carbs and why we need to avoid other carbs. So taking a step back just for a second, let's in a nutshell, the ketogenic lifestyle is eating 70 to 75 to even 80% healthy fats, probably 15 to 20% protein, and 5 to 10% carbs. So in the absence of carbs, our body is used to looking for glucose and sugars for energy. So in the absence of that, it's going to look for fats. So that's why the healthy fats is an important part of this formula. So our body burns fats instead of sugars, and it burns stored fat, and we produce ketones, and then we're just like a fat burning machine. After about 6 weeks of living this lifestyle and eating your macros, then you will become fat adapted, and you'll just be burning fat pretty much 24/7. So macros are just how much you eat in a day, the percentages, and then you track them. On my group, there's a link to setting your macros, tracking your macros, things like that. So I won't go into that now, but just know that that's all on my group. So today, let's address carbs. Carbs are made of 3 things: sugars, starches, and fiber. Sugar and starches are something we need to avoid. Things like potatoes, things like sugars, things like honey, all the processed foods, all the 65 names that the food industry has for sugars, we need to avoid them. So they will raise your blood level, they will raise your insulin levels, which will then most likely take you out of ketosis. So then you are starting over again with the whole transition that your body goes through from burning sugars to what we wanted to do and burn fats. So, keeping in your macros is very important, and keeping away from sugars and starches are also very important. So those are the 2 bad ones, the sugars and the starches. The good one that we need is fiber. So the 3 parts are sugar, starches, and fiber. Sugar and starches we want to avoid as much as possible. So fiber is what we need. And that is good because our body does not really digest that. Our gut uses a little bit of it, but we don't have the enzymes that we can process fiber. So it goes right through us. It keeps us from having, any kind of bathroom issues, and it just keeps you energized. It keeps you feeling full. And so we need the fiber. We need the fiber part of the carbs. So that is, they do not have much caloric intake, if at all, and they definitely do not spike your insulin levels. So staying in ketosis with fiber is exactly what you want. So if we can just, think about green leafy vegetables, your nuts, your seeds, that's where all the good fiber can come from. So that's pretty much what carbs are made up of, those 3 things. We want fiber, we don't want sugar and starches. So you have to become ingredient readers on what you consume. So I do have my cheat sheets here because I want to make sure I cover everything for you guys. So the second thing is, you must have, some people say, oh, I have 8 grams of carbs, I'm going to lose weight faster, net carbs. I'm going to keep it to 10 instead of doing 20 or 25. Look, guys, the research shows you need at least 15 grams of carbs, right, to keep this whole formula process working. So you need at least 15. I would suggest 20 to 25. I think 25 is key. When I first started back in September, I've lost 65 pounds, 67 pounds now since September 5th. And I kept my carbs at 20 to 25. I never went over 25, but I never went lower than 20 because I wanted to get that fiber in. Okay. So that's kind of what I did. Everybody's different, but shoot for 20 to 25 and don't do under 15. So in saying that your net carbs should be 20 grams a day, at least 15 to 20 grams a day. If you are breastfeeding or you are pregnant or you are leading this lifestyle for epilepsy and you're working with a doctor on that, please talk to your doctor about your recommended net carbs, because this is pretty much for anybody that's 100 pounds to 600 pounds who's looking to use this lifestyle to lose weight. You should be between 20 and 25. But if you do have any specific health issues like pregnancy, breastfeeding, epilepsy, please talk to your doctor. Yours may need to be adjusted. But for the most part, that's pretty much where we need to be at. So let's see, number 3, I went over that. Okay, so if you don't have at least 15 or 20 carb grams a day, you're going to feel tired, you're going to feel yucky, you're not going to have energy, and you're going to lose your motivation to stick with it. So I'm telling you, please eat at least 20 grams of net carbs a day. And we're going to go into net and total in just a minute. Okay, so number 4, try not to eat, if you're eating 20 a day or 25 a day, don't try to cram all your carb count for the day into one meal. If you spread them out, 6 or 7 a meal, if you're doing 3 meals, like me, I intermittent fast a lot of days, so I only do 2 meals. So I try to do it around 10 carb grams a meal, because that way your energy levels stay even and your blood levels stay even. It just evens everything out. You'll have energy all day. If you try to get it in one meal, it's probably not optimal. So, 20 to 25 net carbs a day, try to space them out as much as you can. I mean, if you don't space them out, I'm not saying it's going to knock you out of ketosis, but I mean, if every day you have all your carbs at breakfast, that may start to be an issue. And that's something that we'll need to look at if you end up stalling at the scale. So that's something to keep in mind. Just, throughout the day, just kind of eat your carbs in equal amounts. Number 5. Okay, so people ask me all the time, do I count net carbs? Do I count total carbs? Okay, so this is the deal. If you're doing ketogenic for a weight loss program, if you're, pregnant, you have a special circumstance, talk to your doctor. But for the most people watching this video, you need to count in your macros net carbs, okay? Total carbs are the total carbs that are in a serving in a food product than when you're looking at the label, okay? Total carbs. Sugars, starches, and fiber, okay? We don't want the starches and the sugar. We want the fiber. So because we want the fiber, we are going to subtract the fiber, okay? And I'm going to have a label in a minute to show you an example. We're going to subtract the fiber grams from the total carbs, okay? And that will be our net carbs. So it's total carbs minus the dietary fiber, all of it. You get your net carbs. However, there's another piece to that. We can also subtract 5 sugar alcohols. It's not, if it says sugars on the label, you don't subtract that. It has to say sugar alcohols. You can subtract up to 5 grams. If something has 25 grams in it of sugar alcohols, subtract 5. A lot of these companies say, oh, you can subtract them all. No, research shows that after 5, some of those sugar alcohols will spike your blood levels, and it will knock you out of ketosis. So again, we should be tracking net carbs, okay? Total carbs, you can easily see on the package where it says total carbs. Net carbs, total carbs minus your dietary fiber, that's right underneath, minus any sugar alcohols up to 5. A lot of foods don't have sugar alcohols in them, so you don't subtract anything. So it's just your total carbs minus your dietary fiber to get your net carbs, and that's what you want to track, and you eat a total of 20 to 25. So that's kind of how we figure out our net carbs, if that makes sense. And I will have an example of a label here in a minute. Number 6. So if you take the total carbs, of something, let me show you right here. Now, let me just say Slim Fast and Atkins bars and all the stuff they have are not keto. Everybody's throwing keto around like it's glitter, and it's a marketing scheme, and a lot of people buy into it. That's why I'm trying to give my group the knowledge so they can be armed with this knowledge, so they're not going to fall into this trap. So I don't buy Atkins or Slim Fast, but I needed to show you an example, because what happens, these companies end up saying, oh, well, you can take all your sugar alcohols out, so you're left with like 3 net carbs. That is so not true. And if you do that, you're going to fall into trouble. So like, let me just give you an example. An avocado. I had somebody emails me and says, or message me and says, how can I eat an avocado? It's got 12 grams of carbs in it, and I only eat 20 a day. That's because an avocado also has 12 grams of fiber a day. In an avocado. So if you have 12 total carbs minus your 12 fiber, you're at 0. So you eat an avocado, that's not even getting into your carbs. That's how good avocados are. That's how good your romaine lettuce, your broccoli. On my group, I have the groupings of vegetables and which ones you should eat. So that's why we do net carbs, to allow you to get that good fiber in, up to 20 net carbs. So that being said, let me just take a look at this. I don't think it's backwards for you guys, but it's an Atkins cookie dough bar. Now, if you will notice, it says right on here, 3 grams of net carbs. Okay, so that is completely inaccurate. The way they do their calculations for marketing, I guess it would work, but not for keto. Okay, so it says 14 grams. So it says 14 grams of fiber, which is true. It does have 14 grams of fiber. It has 13 grams of protein, which is okay for the keto lifestyle. But then it says 3 grams of net carbs. Let me show you why. And this is just an example for Atkins, but Slim Fast bars, the packaging, they do the same thing. So if you look on here, this is kind of the typical label. You have your total carbs is 32. Okay, so that's total carbs. We're not counting total carbs. We're doing net carbs. Okay, so you're going to subtract the fiber. Okay, so the fiber is 14 grams, right? So you subtract 14 from 32, you get 18 net carbs. Okay, so then we look down here at sugar alcohols. Okay, and it has 15. So the 3 grams that they're saying it has in it, they want us to take all those sugar alcohols out. We're not going to do that. We're going to be smart keto lifestylers. We are only going to take 5. Research shows that anything after 5 will spike your blood sugar. It will take you out of ketosis, and then it's just a vicious cycle. So 32 minus 14 is 18. So there are 18 net carbs in one bar of Atkins, the chocolate cookie dough. So the other thing you want to read. So basically, before you eat anything, just that's how you pretty much track your macros. Is you count. That's the way you track your net carbs. Is that formula: carbs minus dietary fiber minus sugar alcohols, if there are any. There's 15 in here. We can only count 5. If there were only 2, you just take out 2. Okay, so that's how we count them, and that will keep you pretty well on your way to success with keto. So the other thing I want you to notice, right on the packaging, it has, 3 net carbs. So you just have to be smarter than the marketing people at Atkins and Slim Fast, and there's all kinds of others out there, but I just use this as an example. The other thing you want to look at is ingredients, okay? Is ingredients. Guys, look, maltodextrin, okay? Maltose, soy protein. You don't want it. You don't want it. Those are all sugar alcohols, and you don't want to eat those kind of sugar alcohols, okay? So just be label readers. I have on my group, I have a post about all kinds of the names they give to sugars, which there's over 70 names they give to sugar. Some we know, like honey and agave syrup, but there's some of them that have 32 letters and you can't even pronounce them. And it's sugar, and it's going to spike you. So I guess my point of this post, of this video, is just to say, please track net carbs. Okay, if you are, in not pregnant, breastfeeding, epilepsy, things like that, track your net carbs in your macros. Okay, total carbs minus your dietary fiber minus sugar alcohols up to 5 grams, no matter how many they have in them. You want to eat broccoli, asparagus. You want to eat romaine lettuce. You want to eat arugula. You want to eat, you can have some peppers. You can actually have some strawberries in moderation because there's fiber in those, but they tend to be high sugar. So I allow myself 3 strawberries a week. That's about it. So really the 99% of your carbs need to come from green leafy vegetables, nuts, pecans, macadamia nuts are perfect. And seeds, pumpkin seeds, as long as they fit in your macros. So that's pretty much what I wanted to cover today. I hope this helped some of you guys. And so, I just want to say again, welcome to our group. If you know anybody that this group would help or this video would help, please share it out. You can share it from YouTube. You can't share it from our page because we do have a closed group. So that's kind of the whole skinny on the carbs. So if you have any questions about this video, things I said, things I didn't say, just, in my group, just drop them below and I'll be happy to answer them. So I think that does it for now. And I will see you guys in the group. Thank you.